The Corrupted is one hell of a strike, and probably the one I have the most experience in. Back before Grandmaster and Master ever existed, me and a guy I used to play with actually did this 49 light below, one more light below, and we would have actually been immune damage, not be able to damage anybody. So it was like a Grandmaster on crack before Grandmaster ever existed. And I realized at that point that this strike is designed to where you need ammo and you need orbs, and it's such a long strike with a lot of poor vantage points, and you have to make sure that you take advantage of every special finisher encounter that you can before you actually start another segment of this strike. Because if you don't have ammo, you can't slay ads. If you can't slay ads, they keep multiplying, and then one thing leads to another. So I'm going to try to explain a lot about this strike as it plays along, but let's start it off with Orpheus Rig. If you don't have my Ultimate God Taken Hive Mode build that I made a video of a while back, Orpheus Rig is a key player in this strike using Top Tree Void. The reason why I recommend Top Tree is because when you go invisible, enemies cease to see you at that exact moment. But if you use Bottom Tree Invisibility, the Action Darts can still track you, and you can still get killed while you're invisible, basically. But if you use Top Tree with Orpheus Rig, it's really crucial that when you pop your super, another teammate pops super with you to feed you back those orbs because of the nerf that Orpheus Rig took a while back. All the clips in the background are just the amount of supers you'll have during this entire nightfall in great locations that I recommend you popping those supers in. But like I was saying, it's all going to be between you and your teammates to make sure they're popping their super every time you pop yours, to make sure that you always get your tether back, especially during the boss encounter for each wave of ads that spawns, because if you lose the ad control and let them gain ground during this part of the battle, then you're going to waste a lot of revives and probably have to end up going back to orbit because there's just so many ads, and at 25 light below, they're going to be able to crush you extremely fast. I'm still not Grandmaster level, but I've done this at Grandmaster status before. I'm using Master footage as example, a lot of different examples actually of this underlight, and a lot of it is just legendary gameplay just to test exotics to see how long they last, how many supers that I get, just finding vantage points and things like that. So there's a mixture of gameplay in this, but anytime you see the sword above the enemy's head, that's going to be at 20 to 25 light below doing Master with attrition on. When it comes to one of the heavy weapons I recommend being on the team, I recommend somebody using something like Thunderlord, an LMG with arc damage, because of the Ogre battle and all the Arc Knights that you're going to see. It's crucial that you kill those Arc Knights. I don't have footage of it as you're seeing right now, but I'll talk more about that later, and why it's a crucial weapon to have on your fire team, as well as a solar heavy weapon, which is what I recommend the Ad Slay person have on them for the boss encounter. The next exotic that I recommend was Doomfang Pauldron. Because of Controverse Hold and Doomfang Pauldron, that was the entire reason me and my friend were able to do the 49 light below, because of how long the super lasts. It's a very important exotic to have on your fire team, more so during the boss battle. A natural super with Mid-Tree Void is around 12 to 15 seconds, but you can have up to a 30-second super using Doomfangs. The higher your discipline level, the longer you can have that super going, because the shield toss comes back faster. It also comes back when you're just knocking it off targets and marking those targets, as well as healing your team and giving them ability recharge every time you do this. So I recommend saving your Orpheus Rig for those oh shit moments, and definitely during the boss encounter when all those ads spawn, because if you don't take control of them and let them gain ground, they're going to keep multiplying, and all the work that you've done clearing them out is going to basically start over because they multiply so fast the higher the level is. And you also have increased arc damage, which a lot of the Taken do, and then the Solar Shielded Knights that I also recommend somebody on your team having. But for the Ad Slayer role part, I recommend somebody using a Solar Rocket specifically for the boss encounter. Here's another example of just how beneficial it is over any other exotic using Mid-Tree Void. I hear people talking about, Heart of Inmost Light all the time, but to be honest, you get fine recharge rates with Mid-Tree Void, you get those healing properties, and you can't do what you're seeing right here with Heart of Inmost Light, and that is keeping your super going for 31 seconds, which is what you're seeing footage of right here. By the time this super ends, you pretty much cleared out every ad that was in the whole area, and that's what's most important. But like I said, mainly during the boss battle. In the beginning of this strike, if you kill the big yellow bar Cabal in the very back, it doesn't matter if your team dies after that point, unless you go through the door, you'll just have a respawn screen. So a little tip there, as soon as you take the Cabal out, you can afford to wipe right there because you don't actually start that area over. Another perk that I recommend all these builds have today is going to be better already with Protective Light, because of just having those situations where your super's charged, or whether it's charged or not, using that with taking charge is always going to produce health, and that's what you need more than anything in this strike is health properties, which is going to equal more survival properties. You're not going to be able to do any of these situations that you're seeing without having the Mid-Tree Void and the heal property, and you can also get 12 to 14 second grenades when you mark a lot of those targets using your grenade, which is another reason that I don't recommend Heart of Inmost Light, because your recharge rates and the balance of your recharge in this whole strike work out perfectly fine. You also have to use your abilities to get benefit from other abilities, and you don't do a lot of melees in Grandmaster, so you're not going to get as much benefit out of Heart of Inmost Light. Here's a great example of mid-tree void. I'm just going to jump in the middle of these ads and start marking targets, and that's another reason why I always use the mid-tree void, because of the ability recharge mixed with the health on it as well. I would have been dead right there if I wouldn't have had mid-tree void on, and when you mix that with minor and major resist, just that much more damage you can take, which is always going to equal you another 1 or 2 shots or 1 or 2 encounters before death over somebody that doesn't use those resist mods. We'll talk more about that later. But here's another example of me throwing my grenade out and I got it back by the time all those ads were dead. It was like an 8-second grenade, and that happens a lot because of the amount of ads that's in the corrupted. Now for the final situation, I'm just going to let the super run and burn itself down and just take a little bit of damage and then start throwing the super at the very end. So you can imagine this was the boss encounter or this encounter right here, but that just goes back to the importance of Doomfang and having that on your team. You can also block and do extra damage so your teammates can shoot through that, and there's no way to really die when you're in Doomfang Pauldron because of all the properties that it offers you. Every time I'm about to die, I can just throw the shield again and then begin the health regen process all over again. Making in-game builds requires a skill in itself, because you got to be skilled enough to get inside a lot of situations to figure out what you need to fill those gaps in, and it takes a crap load of runs. I'm usually not done with any kind of master or grandmaster build until I've ran around 30 different strikes and put myself in all the situations that I know that I'm going to encounter, and then fill in the gaps with that. So for all the exotics that I recommend for this strike, it's going to be the Taken Hive God Mode Hunter build that I made a video of a while back, top tree Orpheus Rig, middle tree Void with the Doomfang Pauldrons on Titan, and then top tree Void with Controverse Hold on the Warlock. I'm going to pop a screenshot up of the Warlock build, but know that this is going to be for the Titan and the Hunter as well for the add clear roll on the team. So it doesn't matter which one you're on, just replace the exotic that you're seeing, such as the Controverse Hold, with the Doomfang Pauldrons, or for the Orpheus Rig, and just move the mods around like you need to do it. But all the perks that you see are going to be really crucial in this. And I know you're probably wondering why I'm not using Oppressive Darkness, and don't get me wrong, I love Oppressive Darkness more than the next person, I promise you. But the thing is if you put Oppressive Darkness on, you can't have better already a resist mod and protective light and special finisher. And every run that I did that I ran Oppressive Darkness, I liked it being on another teammate's build, such as your main melter for champions and things like that. But for the add clear roll, it just doesn't belong, because you will run out of ammo so much and you can't do your job on the team. You're going to pay the price of picking Oppressive Darkness over all those other perks. I really love Oppressive Darkness, but I'm also really skilled at add clearing, and I don't mean that as a flex or anything, but my experience with Oppressive Darkness on every run that I did was I always ran out of ammo, and that I always had to rely on my other teammate who had special finisher to pop a special finisher if I needed it, but I need it when I need it. I know the locations that I always have to have it at, and when I don't have that, all the ads just end up overrunning the entire team, and it happened every single time. So though you might see footage of me using Oppressive Darkness in this video, and you might also see me using other exotics aside from the ones I named, that was just from countless other runs that I was doing when I was testing things out. But Oppressive Darkness for the Ad Slay roll, unfortunately, just doesn't have any business on this build. And if you play the Ad Slay roll correctly, you'll immediately find that out halfway and at the end of the strike, when you have all those ads coming at you and you have nothing to fire your weapons at. So all the finders that you see, the scavengers, protective light, better already, special finisher, and that resist mod is definitely the way to go on this build. Champs just aren't that hard to kill without Oppressive Darkness. We've been doing it for a long time, with and without it, so it's not like a make or break thing that you have to have. You as a squad, especially if you have somebody built out for a specific champion role, you're going to be able to melt through those champions very easily. But like I said, it's the ads around the champion, they're the main problem in this entire Nightfall. Sorry, I just felt like I need to explain that because I felt like I was going to have comments about why there's no Oppressive Darkness. But back to the video and back to the tips. So the intro, the strike, you can always go right and do these 2 locations, which are basically the same locations, just going to them at different parts. You can jump up here and go through this hallway, and whoever has the overload grenade, which is going to be you should throw it on the bridge, mid-bridge. It's going to hit the overload champion, and you can take out that champion really easy. I highly recommend killing the Cabal guy that throws the Axion darts first. So here's a great example of resist mods with protective light. You can see right here that I took that damage, and I'm still able to take another shot after getting hit, and that would have killed me without all these resist mods. I'm going to go through a lot of other resist mod situations for those who are maybe new to my channel and never even heard the benefit of resist mods. I've been talking about them since Grandmaster started, but here's the other way you can go. And like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you die after you kill a Cabal guy. It's not a wipe screen, so you have a little bit of breathe room at that point. Without going through a bunch of different, minor, major resist tests, because I've done a lot of those in past videos, but just to explain to somebody that's never used them before. So right now I have protective light on. That's about to fall off, and once I do that, all that's left on me is going to be my resist values. So I have 2 minor and 3 major resist on. Resilience in PvE is not going to benefit you at all in these situations, but what they do is right there that you saw. That shot would have killed me without the minor and major resist on. So 2 minor, 3 majors, what I usually rock on every nightfall. Sometimes it'll change, but it all depends on the ad layout and how many types of ads I'm going to be facing. So just know that if you're not wearing them and you're an ad clear person, you're not going to get that extra chance to get away. You're just going to go ahead and just die at that point. It'll also let you get sniped more than once by champion snipers and many other type of snipers, even if there's a burn mod on. And if you're wondering about elemental resist, they do half of what minor and major resist do. So right here, I'm just speed running through. I'm not fighting at all. I don't recommend speed running, but I'm just showing you the damage meter and how they allow me to survive just running all past through these ads, even being below light. If I wouldn't have had these on, like I said, I'd be dead. So it offers me that extra last chance before I would have been dead. When you can die in just a couple of shots, getting 2 to 3 more shots before death is a big difference in Grandmaster, and I never waste mod space on discipline, recovery, mobility mods. It's always going to be for those resist mods, and I farm out naturally good statted armor with recovery, most importantly. Next to be discipline, and then after that it's mobility, and then strength, then intellect, and then resilience. You can see that we charged a lot of those charge balls up, but here's your first ad clear experience when it comes to actually getting in this nightfall. You can see that I'm spraying Telesto at the ground when those ads first spawned out, and that's what I recommend in how to use Telesto against file type ads in mass numbers. You just kind of spray the ground and let them walk into it, almost like you're planting spawn traps. Then you walk over to all those tons of balls you have charged up. My shield gets busted, but I do have resist on, so I'm always going to have that second chance to always get away. And then the rift that I had planted down, and then the hunter that may be invis. Great call on his part. Now the second wave of ads is going to spawn out. Same thing, spray the ground down. That's all you got to do is keep spraying it. If I would have had a rocket there, I would have done the same exact thing, or grenade the left side and then rocket the right side and then clean up any other ads with Telesto. I throw my first Nova Bomb out. I always try to save my Nova Bomb for situations where I could get booped off the map. Since that's one of the main modifiers on where you can get knocked back further, I always try to save it for situations like that. So if I do get pushed off, I can hit my Nova Bomb. That's going to stop me from getting knocked backwards, and I can float back onto the platform. Always try to special finish any type of ad before you leave an encounter and enter a next one. So here's our first champion, the Unstoppable Champion. I do have an unstoppable weapon on, but it's not really my job to take out unstoppables or do as much damage as it would be for somebody who's designated just for those champions. My main job is going to be ad clear, so if I'm wasting all my ammo on champions, I can't do my ad clear job. So make sure you communicate that and build out accordingly so you have somebody that has like Izanagi or something with high champion damage. Here's the first encounter with our Arc Knights. I don't have Arc weaponry, and the only person on our team that does is using an Arc hand cannon. Luckily, he's of light level. I'm not of light level, but it's still not that easy to take out Arc Shielded Knights, even if you are of light level, using a hand cannon. So I recommend somebody using that LMG I was talking about, like Thunderlord, because it's going to be a key player, and I'm going to show you a lot of like faults in this gameplay as well, not just a bunch of like okay gameplay. When you first go into the underworld or whatever you talk about it, the Taken world, make sure you spray down all those void shielded enemies and try to take out as many as you can. Like I said, your job is ad clear. The main place you want to be at is on the top of the staircase in the very back of the area. I'm going to show you some gameplay of me playing on the stair set and how I get myself killed twice because of that, and why you shouldn't do it yourself, because it's just a death trap. I go and pick up these attrition, but as soon as I spawn back, I'm right there with an Arc Knight, nothing to kill the Arc Knight with, and I end up killing myself. And then once I do get revived, I then go back to the Taken world, and then there's a champion, Overload Champion, that's going to be right there waiting on me, and he ends up killing me because I don't have health back. I can't take an extra shot. No matter the resist mods at half health, I'm not going to be able to survive that. So always hang back in this area that you see me at right here. Save your Nova Bomb. Try to communicate with your tether person if you're using a tether hunter. Make sure that you do communicate that so you can always get your orbs back to him. If you do get hit and you are on the staircase, like I was saying earlier with the resist mods, they're not always going to be there to help you, but they are going to be most of the time, and you can see that I would have died right there without them. Now back to the hunter and why I recommend the Thunderlord. So right here, we're going to tether all these ads, but the only ones that we're able to even kill are going to be the ones that aren't shielded like a bunch of Thrall. But all the harder hitting enemies are basically going to still be alive, and that's going to be a wasted tether because of that. All I have is Telesto, but if somebody would have had Thunderlord right here, it'd have been an easy takeout. And I left this clip in on purpose because there was tons of games where this would specifically happen every single time. All the ads will be tethered, but you can't do anything about it. Here's a better already situation where I'm low health, attrition's on, I touch all those orbs, I get no benefit out of it because I'm choosing Oppressive Darkness in this situation. So aside from just the ammo and lack of it, by choosing Oppressive, I also don't have those health benefits, so whether I'm doing Grandmaster or Master, I need to have that ammo over the Oppressive Darkness. And now since we can't kill those Ark Knights, we're forced to fight the Unstoppable Champion in the Ark Room, because if we enter the other room and try to kill the champions, those Ark Boomers are going to be on our backside, still booming away until they end up killing somebody, which would have wasted a revive. This room's fairly easy, just kind of go at your own pace, plant that tether at the beginning like I had showed you, follow with a Nova Bomb or whatever, because you'll get a ton of orbs, and don't fight the yellow barred boss guy that's in there. He's just an ammo hose and wastes all your ammo. To complete this jump, it's kind of hard to explain, but you kind of want to jump a little bit further out, and you'll always miss all those blights spinning around. I hardly ever die there, and once you learn it, you kind of just know the way. I was actually streaming the other night talking about it, how I've never died there, and then I end up dying right after that, so if you think about it too much, you're probably going to be killed. But after you get done with that area, I recommend doing a lot of special finishers here, because you need a ton of ammo when you enter that boss area. You can long toss a grenade like you saw me do there if you're good at long toss grenades, but if not, you can have somebody with an overload arrow or something like that, but chill up there if you need to until all the main adds are out of the way. And then, like I said, make sure you have plenty of ammo before you enter that boss fight, because I'll show you some situations with and without ammo, and how you can add control all these adds very easily with the weapon loadout that I recommend. So as soon as you're jumping over, this is the area that you want to jump over to the boss area. The boss battle is what this entire build has been waiting for the entire time. So as soon as you hop over, I recommend being on this side and then jump to that middle platform, get your controverse grenade ready, throw it right in the center, so right as they spawn, they're getting hit by that grenade, start spraying the area down. I've only got 8 Telesto because I'm choosing Oppressive Darkness in the run that you're seeing, which leaves me with very little ammo this entire boss run. I'm going to show you a lot of different builds and stuff like that, and there's 2 other builds at the end of this video it's screenshotted, but you can see right here that even with very little ammo, my ad control game is still okay. I'm about to die because attrition's on, and again, this is where my resist mods, I would have been dead had I not had them on. In all of these clips that I'm about to show you, I'm practically getting zero help from my teammates. These are just random LFG. Just for the sake of this video, I just wanted to show you how important it is that you don't let these ads gain ground and you blow them to shit as soon as they spawn in, because once they start gaining ground and pushing back against you, you're going to start having trouble. So it's important to just start melting right away. Get that controverse grenade ready, or whatever grenade you have ready, throw it in the middle, and then do not Nova Bomb. If you do a Nova Bomb, the boss is going to shoot it 9.5 out of 10 times. That's just how often it happens. Always save your Nova in case you start getting booped off the map. Then you can save yourself with your Nova Bomb. Let your other people use their tethers or whatever they need to do, but it's always a good idea to hang on to it. But again, these ads are starting to gain ground, and I have zero ammo because, again, I chose to have Oppressive Darkness. I don't have any ammo at this point. My grenade is the only thing that I do have, and I'm going to use it, and I'm about to get booped off the map because I've wasted my Nova Bomb, have nothing to save me. And then the most bullshit thing that can happen is when you jump and get booped off a map because the jumping mechanism and the geometry in this game is just kind of effed. The next build you're going to see me wearing is going to be Getaway Artist. I ended up not using Getaway Artist for a ton of reasons. I like it in some Nightfall Grandmasters, but it just didn't work out in this one. I did it because of the Arc Shielded Knights. I tried to have every burn and stuff, but watch just how easy it is for me to clear all these ads because of me having rockets this time, because I don't have Oppressive Darkness. So I had tons of ammo this entire Nightfall. You're also going to see a cell fall out, which one of these builds that I have for you today does have cell mods included into it, but you can see that all those ads were dead in no time. Here again, same situation. This time we threw the ball. I recommend making a ton of those charge balls, same as you did in the elevator room. But again, this time I do have ammo. I've got plenty of Telesto. As soon as they pop over, I just spray the ground, let them blow themselves up. I got plenty of rockets this time. Icarus grip to get that on-point shot whenever I don't have much time to think about where my shot's going to be going. It just helps me aim it and sway it that much easier. Then I have a ton of ammo sitting over here because the game is just being generous now that I didn't use Oppressive Darkness. Now here's again without Oppressive Darkness, and again I have tons of ammo, and you can see again you're going to see a cell pop out. I don't recommend the cell build on this Controverse build. It's on a different build using the Mid-Tree Solar using Phoenix Protocol, but again all the ads are immediately done with. And this is 21 light below, which is basically Grandmaster gameplay. So I'm just showing you how powerful Solar Rocket and Telesto is, especially during this boss encounter if you ad clear correctly. Now I'm going to show you how milliseconds matter when it comes to doing these ad control strategies when a teammate accidentally bumps me. he booped me out of the way, so I wasn't able to get my shots off, which made me lose ground against the ads. The ad starts pushing more forward, and you can see shit just goes all to hell. So when you're initiating ad control strategies, make sure your teammates don't touch you, because every millisecond of how much ground these ads cover is going to absolutely count. And you can also see how I just saved my Nova Bomb and then did it right when I was almost about to get hit off the map. But like I was saying earlier, I chose to not do oppressive, and I have plenty of special finisher and all kinds of heavy ammo due to it. And I can hear the comments now being like, well, you can always use oppressive and special finisher, and you can use protective light, but then you don't have better already, you don't have a resist mod, and those things are equally as important. So it's choosing that over 30% damage. And I'm not saying that the whole team shouldn't have oppressive, but it doesn't fit on this build. In all 30 plus runs that I did, every time I had oppressive, I paid for it on every one of those runs. So I'm not just saying that just to say it. I wanted and built around using oppressive darkness when this build first started, but every time I did it, it was just the same data that I was collecting over and over was simply that oppressive never fit in. But you can see that having all that ammo ended up saving that run, and again, if that was a Grandmaster run, it would have been over with. Now the area leading up to the final boss battle is kind of up to you. If you didn't do a melt strategy at the beginning, this is where you're going to end up fighting him. So it's kind of like go at your own pace. I'm using Icarus grip on my rocket, as I was saying, to make sure my rockets all count. But once you jump over to the next platform, the final platform, there's going to be an unstoppable, and this pillar that you see me behind is going to be your safe zone. So you can kind of just chill back here, then grenade the ad and kill him, and now you're on to the boss battle. Make sure if you're the ad person on your team, that you're going to be the first one up there, and get ready for the boss to boop you. Try not to jump high off the ground, because if that happens, you're going to get knocked off the map, so stay kind of low. Go to the left side, and there's going to be ads spawning. Get your grenade ready and throw it so that they run into the grenade. They go to the same control spots every single time, so grenade right there. Sometimes every one of the ads will come over, but the other teammate aggroed them to his side, so just try to throw some shots over there. Hopefully they can take them out. It's only like 2 ads that'll stray off that direction, but that's how you clear out the first area. Throw the charge ball to your teammate, and then bust the shield off. Now your job, again, is ad clear. Don't worry about the boss DPS phase unless you're going for a melt strategy, but chances are you're probably not going to at Grandmaster level. So start worrying about all the majors that are going to spawn out. That's why you got your rocket launchers and making sure you're doing special finishers so you have plenty of ammo before you enter the boss area. Make sure to always communicate having ammo, because if you enter any area and all of you don't have ammo or special ammo or your main slay weapon, you're going to pay for it every time you go to any of those areas. So make sure that somebody on your team is doing a special finisher. I recommend everybody having special finisher. That way you're never wasting a finisher moment just for no reason. It's always benefiting the team when you do it. And if the boss is ever going to boop you, you can always boost towards the boss when it happens. Even with that modifier that pushes you further back when you're booped, if you boop towards the boop, it doesn't push you back nearly as far. Once you've cleaned out the last wave of ads, that's going to be your melt phase at that point, so just kind of stay hidden. If you're behind a broken wall, you can still get pushed backwards. It happened a lot of times whenever we tried the 49 light under. We had to wipe so many times due to it, so be careful what kind of wall you're behind, and if you're at the side of a wall when she does the boop. But after you clean out all the ads, that's when you want to go for the melt phase. You don't want to take any risk. So like I was saying, your job on the team is a very important job, just like your melt person for champions and things is a very important job. Everybody kind of plays their role, and you need a perfect build loaded out for it. Now I'm going to load up the non-taken versions. One's a support build using Phoenix Protocol, and the other is a Controverse hold, same as the other one, but without the taken mods. All these builds are just as good. Obviously, if you have taken mods, they're going to be the better selection, and I know that people that have taken mods are probably going to choose those over the non-taken mod versions, but to be honest, I kind of like having a build on better than using taken mods. It just doesn't feel like a completed build or whatever when I'm using mods like that. It's almost like cheat mods, to be honest, but that's just my take on it. I mean, I do like using taken mods, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I kind of feel like they weren't even in the game at times. But there you go, Guardian. That is your Grandmaster or Master Guide to the Corrupted. Play your role and play it wisely. Slay those ads. Don't be afraid to use that special ammo and use those special finishers at the most crucial times when you need them, and always before you enter another encounter. I know there's probably a million things that I'm leaving out, and that's the hard part about making guides to Grandmasters, is because there's so much insight when you're running these over and over that I always forget to say things, but hopefully it makes sense. It's just a hard thing to do, is put one of these guide videos together, but one thing I do know is those builds work, so check those out. But other than that, Guardians, if you want to join our Beast Squad, that's what's up. But I'll see you all on the next video next time.
In space.